I didn't hear anything.
Thank you.
You know, some clarification. It turns out full moon really is today, not yesterday. I was mistaken. Um, you know, ChatGPT fooled me. Um, Interesting. Then you know what? We ask. I asked detail about all this information, and then it turns out the full moon already started early morning. I don't know, like 2 a.m. or something, and it's gonna go on until I don't know many hours later. But it will peak. Here's the interesting part: West Pacific Standard Time, our time, 10:23 a.m. It says peak, and the peak will last like a little over 2 minutes, something like that. And the interesting part is, I consider this very auspicious. And the interesting part is, 10:23. Susan noticed that. That is exactly 1000 on Chenrezig as a 1023 eyes. And I consider this very auspicious, 1000 hand and 1000 eye, and then 11 head has a total of 23 eyes. You know, 6, 6 3 is 18, and then the Mahakala head has 3, and then Amitabha Buddha on top is 2. That makes 23 exactly. So interesting. Auspicious, I consider this very auspicious. We're doing Nyungne, Chenrezig, and it falls exactly on the same time. That Chenrezig is gazing with the eyes of compassion. Remember how I explained the understanding of gazing means. Gaze is with the eyes of compassion 24/7, okay? But the most important part is Chenrezig gazes, meaning that one of the most important part of the meaning of the gazing is doesn't even blink. Remember that part, okay? How incredible, huh? That's part of the understanding. Doesn't blink. If he blink, maybe he missed some sentient being. Like this amazing. When I understood that, I was like so deeply moved. I'm like, wow, Chenrezig. Only Chenrezig can represent Buddha's the 10 directions, true love and compassion. You see, only somebody like that can represent Buddha's the 10 directions, true love and compassion. How incredible! This is world of samsara. Chenrezig magically manifests to us. How incredible! Buddhas have that ability. They can, if we pray to them, they'll magically show up in front of us. Chenrezig magically shows up. This is the thing in the temple and shrine, You have to be really very part of being respectful and so on. Chenrezig is alive, Any misbehavior is considered disrespectful to Chenrezig and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. See, like that. Sometimes we have one or two students, I don't want to name, but they're so impatient with things and they sit improperly and their legs are flying everywhere and things like. I come from very traditional background. This kind of thing really bothers me. Like you can't do that. But then it's a saying. It's difficult. People's feelings are hurt so easily. You can't even correct them. Things like that. And you have to always sugarcoat. That's the English word. Sugarcoating the truth, Dharma. Yeah. Buddha sugarcoat skillfully, but it's Buddhist terminology is not sugarcoat. It's called skillful mean. Buddha skillfully, always skillfully find a way to teach people. Yes, but it's like this, like this. So amazing, huh? Yeah. Skillful mean. This is the thing. Absolute quality of enlightened being. Skillful mean. Wisdom and skillful mean. And the essence of skillful mean is compassion. See? Compassion. Like that. That's how it works. Yeah. You know, enlightened beings have these quality. Like my enlightened guru, you know, so much wisdom, so much, all kinds of talent, you know. He was like a genius, you know. My guru is actually, he was, if born in a Western world, grew up, he could have been anything. He could have been a great scientist, philosophers, and, you know, inventors. He had all those kind of completely multi-talented guy. Amazing being, you know. And then so much wisdom, so much compassion, so much skillful me. Amazing. Yeah. You see, if you meet an enlightened guru, your life completely changed. You know, my life has completely changed. And because of that, you know, even though I was young, struggling Buddhist teacher here in the West, from very young age, difficult, life is very difficult, hard, you know. When I first came, I don't even have proper status, place to live, and anything like that, you know, all kinds of difficulty. But guess what? No matter what difficulty it is, I cannot do anything else except pure Dharma. I had to do it. That's the thing. This is the blessing of enlightened Guru. You see, if you don't have, when life is hard, you ended up doing all kinds of stupid stuff, you know. You know, this is how it is. You see, like that. So I always had that blessing, that courage, no matter what, to always do the right thing spiritually. You know, so this is something according to Bodhisattva principle. I always had to do whatever the is the best for sentient being, for Buddha Dharma, what my guru would like me to do, you know, like that. You know? So amazing, huh? Yeah, it would be impossible without a guru's blessing, you see, like that. May I have, may I be well endowed with leisure and endowment, says the Mahamudra prayer. Precious human birth, leisure and endowment. Leisure, freedom to practice Dharma. Endowment is all the qualities that comes together to support your Dharma practice. Leisure endowment. And then may I meet a authentic guru and receive quintessential instruction. This is what happens. Yeah. And then soon all your issues will be gone and you will be endowed with so much spiritual qualities, you know. Not only you're okay, but now you have ability to help others. That's the amazing part, no? Yeah. True help, not just any help, but true help. That's the thing. Huh? Tea does body good. Yeah. You know, if you really keep on practicing like this, you know, again and again, soon all your issues will be solved. You know, you see, several days ago I mentioned to you when I was young, even though I was born in a very devout Buddhist family and understood, meet an enlightened group, I still had my samsaric fears and insecurities and things like that, you know. And then slowly through Dharma, prayer, and practice, all my issues are gone. Like that, you see. Yeah. Fear of death was there too. I remember when I was a kid, I did have a fear of death. Oh, one day we're gonna die. Wow, like that, you know. And I personally theorize, usually the fear of death is explained in terms of fear of the unknown, you know. And the reason is because, like I was mentioning the other day about my guru and his brother's story, you remember? That when they were young, they were like maybe, they were quite young that time. They're talking, They're very intelligent people talking and so like, what if death was the end of our existence? You remember I was telling you that? Death of our end of existence. And my guru, Kalu Rinpoche, said that. His younger brother says, oh, I wouldn't want that. He said, no matter what, even there's a hell, I want me to exist, he had said, He had said, I would like to exist. And I love myself, you see. This is the thing everybody loves, you see. Love yourself. And and this self-love, like then you die, then, oh, what's going to happen to, I love me, what's going to happen to me, This is where basically fear coming from, right? Fear of the unknown. uh, I theorize this fear of unknown is part of it, not completed. My own personal theory is fear of the unknown as well as known. I didn't read anywhere in Buddhist scripture about fear of the known part, but let me explain to you how I come to this conclusion. Because from Buddhist teaching, you see, whatever experience is happening, good, bad, whatever neutral experience, all somehow it plants its in Alaya consciousness. This is how it's understood. Eight consciousness, like it's really there's some kind of all base consciousness where everything is deeply planted in traumas, whatever it is, all the traumas are down there in Alaya consciousness. Samsaric traumas are all there. Seeds are all planted there. And everything manifests from there because seed is there. Karmas are planted there. Seeds, habits, and so on are planted there. So my point is death also. Each time, we've existed forever. And we went through all this kind of experience, birth, old age, illness, death, birth, old age, death, many, many times, this vicious cycle, right? So each time we'd gone through in our history of past, it's a seed is planted in Alaya consciousness. Oh, it was no good, not good experience. Then you don't like it. Oh, that was awful. You're not an enlightened being, and you don't remember very clearly everything, but it's there. What's that? Oh, I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't want that. You see, this is my theory that the fear of unknown, that you love yourself, you don't know what's going to happen to you, you after death, and then fear of known, you don't like that because there's not good experience going through that process. Right? Yeah. So, very powerful one. You see, true and pure Dharma practitioners, even you're not enlightened being, doesn't have this fear. Deep self-assurance, conviction, and confidence comes in. No matter what happens, you'll be completely okay. That kind of conviction will arise. See, for sure, Nobody can convince you that you're going to do something terrible. No, Even the whole world tells you you're going to go to hell. You're not going to hell. You will have that kind of conviction. Dharma practice, you see? That's how precious it is. Yeah. We're not going to hell, okay? We're going to heaven, but it's not ordinary heaven. It's Amitabha Buddha heaven. Yeah. Actually, those who did 8 Nyungne and more are actually qualified to go to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. Now you just need to meet some additional condition, such as prayer to Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land every day, aspiration and prayer and so on. And when you do that, it will come true. And the reason is because those are the right causes and condition for experiencing, Pure Land experience. Yeah. Like Chenrezig's promise of protecting anybody who does 8 Nyungne, falling into the lower birth. Amitabha Buddha's promise too, to anybody who sincerely pray and well, that Amitabha Buddha had made a vow and prayer that it could be, he would have a pure land where they could be born and have pure experience of total freedom and liberation in Islam. Once you're born, you're a pure being. That's the really enlightened club, enlightened society. You see? Like that. Yeah. Yes.
I think I'll just look it up. Actually, it's fine. I think I'll just look it up. We're talking about pure land, and I'm trying to figure out how that fits with coming back and helping everybody.
Helping everybody? Huh? What did you say?
Just look it up. It's just Dharma knowledge. I can just look it up.
He was just wondering how, if you're going to the Pure Land, how do you come back and help everybody? You have a choice.
You have to ask that Amitabha Buddha. I'm kidding. Once you're born in Pure Land, I think everybody will understand that. I think. Well, once you're born in Amitabha with a Pure Land, then you're an enlightened being. Then you have enlightened ability to come back. Only then you have real enlightened ability, otherwise choice. This is the difference between ordinary being and enlightened being. Yeah. You come back. Part of your question is correct. You come back with choice because you have a choice. Ordinary beings don't have choice. You're stuck there. You cannot go anywhere else. Ordinary beings, yeah. That would be like, say, next life, I'm going to be born in Antarctica. Okay, Antarctica is, you can still come to United States, but say like Antarctica was a place where a small group of people there, and then once you're there, you can never come out of that. Say, okay, say, okay, just an example. And so next life, your question will be something like, next life, you're born in Antarctica, then you want to come to US, then how you gonna come? It's almost like that. That's because birth in Antarctica is a human birth and has a limitation. You have to physically come, otherwise you don't have any ability. You're not an enlightened being. That's what difficult. Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land birth means you're an enlightened being. You can go anywhere you want with choice. This is the thing. Enlightened beings have that choice. Ordinary beings don't have that choice. That is the difference. Yeah. So most of, I think, here knows, but for your information, Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, birth in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land means the moment you're born, you will achieve first Bhumi Bodhisattva. That's step one, enlightenedhood. Yeah, you are an enlightened being, and with all the enlightened qualities. And not only that, but once you're born in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, you have ability to not only come back to help sentient being, you will have ability to come back to planet Earth, say, Earth here, help sentient being. Guess what? Not just one being. You would have ability to manifest yourself 100 times. Well, I'm not so sure you're understanding. Yeah. This is what literally means in Tibetan word trupa. True means, English, you don't have very good word for them. You can almost, true is almost like, true actually means something like magically manifest, magical manifestation. True power, you can, magical manifestation. Tulku is that body of physical manifestation, you know. Then this magical manifestation, first Bhumi Bodhisattva has the ability, like they can manifest 100 times magically for the benefit of sentient beings. Amazing. Most of you know Sangye Nyenpa Rinpoche, right? How many of you don't know Sangye Nyenpa Rinpoche? Lots of people don't know, look like. Sangye Nyenpa Rinpoche is one of our Kagyu teacher. He's very popular and online right now. Nyenpa Rinpoche doesn't give teaching in English, so that's part of the problem. Otherwise, like Nyenpa Rinpoche is very popular. um, and Nyenpa Rinpoche was recognized by 16 Karmapa. Okay, Nyenpa Rinpoche is like my age. He's actually 1 year younger than me right now. You know what Karmapa said? Karmapa said actually 3 Nyenpa Rinpoche incarnation. This is why I'm talking about magical. 3 Karmapa. Karmapa actually said 1 in US, 1 in Bhutan, India, the one famous one, and then 1 in China, Tibet. And then Karmapa had said, oh, there were 3 Nyenpa Rinpoche incarnations. And then 1 in China somehow didn't survive, he passed away. 1 in US is still alive. He's in Hawaii, big island Hawaii right now. But the one in India is the most activity. But the US one, it's, I consider this a little unfortunate for American Buddhist karma. This proves not very good. Nyenpa Rinpoche, really, he was my childhood friend. We know him very well. He's a really authentic Tulku, Very special as a child. Real Tulkus have that quality, pure quality. And then Nyenpa Rinpoche grew up completely useless. He just sit there, do nothing. In Hawaii, still there. He's still alive, He's younger than me too, like that. Like that. I think there were not just this Nyenpa Rinpoche, there were several other manifested here in the US, but circumstance, situation just didn't allow them to have incredible activity somehow, This is some kind of Western karma. Buddha Dharma is still not that great. You see Buddhists and Bodhisattvas really manifest everywhere, trying to help, you see, it's like that. Yeah. And Nyenpa Rinpoche waste all this time. Mostly he says smoking weeds and relax. Nyenpa Rinpoche. Bodhisattva incarnation, smoking weeds. Even incarnate Tulkus, support system is kind of needed and necessary, right? American Nyenpa Rinpoche did not have too much support because he was kind of on his own. Previous Nyenpa Rinpoches, lamas and monks all took care of the Nyenpa Rinpoche from Bhutan, And previous Nyenpa Rinpoche had a few, 2, 3 lamas who were devoted to him. They, one in Bhutan was one they really took care, put effort and help, and that's Nyenpa Rinpoche in India. Now one of the most successful teacher among Tibetan teacher, But the one in America is smoking weed. Contrast. But you see, the interesting part is the same essence, though. This is the thing Karmapa said. Three incarnation. Back to Will's question, you see, Bodhisattva ability, and they manifest here. And Sangye Nyenpa Rinpoche, history-wise, he's part of our Nyungne lineage holder too. You see, Sangye Nyenpa, Mikyu Dorje Tang, Wangchu Dorje Chuji Wangchu. See, Nyenpa Rinpoche. First Nyenpa Rinpoche. Must be a great Nyungne practitioner too. He was a 8 Karmapa's guru. Nyenpa Rinpoche, this is the only Nyenpa Rinpoche in our golden Kagyu rosary. Subsequent to this, Nyempa Rinpoche continually came. Current Nyempa Rinpoche in India, I don't know how many incarnations he is, but there were successive Nyempa Rinpoche incarnation. By the way, for your information, previous Nyempa Rinpoche was, guess what? He was Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche's brother. You all know Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, right? Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche's brother. You know, they even look so similar. I made a mistake thinking like Dilgo Khyentse. It turns out it was Nyempa Rinpoche on the photos, like this. Like, oh, it must be Dilgo Khyentse. No, Nyempa Rinpoche. They even so look alike. Each lifetime is so interesting. Previous Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche is a Tibetan giant. He's like a 6 foot 5, 6 inch tall, huge giant, like big giant Native American chief type of look, so big. And when Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche is a young incarnation, is a small one. Contrast is so interesting, each lifetime. Our guru, Thaisiddha Rinpoche is, this Thaisiddha physically small. Huh? Previous Thaisiddha Rinpoche is very big, they said. Interesting, huh? Each lifetime.
Young color,
Huh?
young color,
Young color, which is big. Yeah. For physical look, big looks stronger and better, right? More powerful looking. Okay, Jane, what do you have a question?
The last thing you said different Shakyamuni coming before Buddha because he was more courageous. Right? But my question is, how realize Guru, I mean, let's say was awakened before Shakyamuni, right? And when you were awakened, I think you realize the emptiness of things, right? So how this question of courage or no courage can be existing?
Well, Buddhahood, actually, no matter what, it's a long way. So, Bodhisattvas, usually it takes a long time to achieve Buddhahood. So some bodhisattvas more courageous than others. Definitely. Um, that's the difference. It's understood in Buddhist teaching. Shakyamuni Buddha was a particularly courageous bodhisattva. He was willing to take hard, difficult tasks onto himself and so on. And that's one of the reasons why Shakyamuni Buddha time, Tantrayana, secret Mantrayana also manifested. It's also understood. All Buddhas, when they manifest, they're not going to teach secret Mantrayana. They will teach all three vehicles. But secret Mantrayana will not be publicly taught. And Shakyamuni Buddha is one of those who it happened. So maybe kind of relate to your question is, yeah, Bodhisattva, actually for us ordinary beings in our spiritual journey, yeah, issue really is to achieve first level enlightened state. Okay, karma is the problem. We really, no matter what it takes, you try and find a way to clean up the karma. It's whatever. It's just like okay, you know. Once that is done, then after that, then 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 there's no more issue, so to speak. All the ordinary issues are gone. Yeah. Then you can progress whichever way after that. Once the issue is solved, so then all bodhisattvas are not the same. Some bodhisattvas, how do you say, vow to work more courageously, and others maybe a little bit lazy bodhisattvas, you know. You know, not all same. That's why all Buddhas, their bodhisattva life story is different. You know, yeah, we're all gonna have same thing. Our bodhisattva life will be, you know, similar in certain way and different in another ways. It will be like that. Yeah, similar in a way that we cherish the same principle, understanding the same thing, work for the same goal, and we truly care about Mother Sentient being the same way, and so on. But then the way we do things will be a little different, you know. Yeah. For instance, in the history of Tibet, Milarepa's practice is very unique. You see, other great practitioners not like Milarepa is very unique in his own way, how he practiced, you know, like that, right? Milarepa wants to what? Ten Bhumi? Huh?
He attained 10 Bhumi in one life.
Um, Milarepa Ten Bhumi, I don't know actually. Mm, One Kagyu master said Milarepa exhibited all the qualities of having achieved uh, um, 8 bodhisattva. One Kagyu master, I remember reading, you know, his power and ability, and he said, demonstrate that. 10th part, I don't know. You know, others out of faith and devotion would say Milarepa is completely Buddha, and things like that. So that's just okay. And say, you know who really was given credit achieving 10th Bhumi meditative absorption? Lord Gambopa. Lord Gambopa was was really 10th Bhumi Bodhisattva. Yeah. It's part of the prophecy and part of the understanding of all his students also. Yeah. Milarepa, yeah, could have achieved 10th Bhumi, but I don't remember personally reading anywhere saying Milarepa achieved 10th Bhumi though. Yeah. Lots of Kagyu devotees will say, oh, Milarepa achieved Buddhahood. They will say things like that. But, you know, we hear like that and so on and so on. But then I read from one Kagyu master, Milarepa exhibited all the qualities of 8 Bhumi Bodhisattvas in terms of power and ability and so on. Yeah. So actually that part is a little difficult to judge who achieved what and so on. You yourself have to be almost like a Buddha to say who's where, you know. Yeah, that's a difficult one usually. True spiritual qualities, insight, and so on is only a completely enlightened being will be able to tell. You know, otherwise you'll not be able to tell. You know, because many of these advanced beings, they all look alike. You wouldn't be able to tell ordinarily. It's like that. Yeah. Okay, I think it's time to start.